Bad Kitty Reloaded. So this is an issue that actually came out in 2000, as you can tell from the Chaos logo on the top left. Chaos Comics hasn't been around for a long while now. So I've already reviewed Bad Kitty, the very first volume of her that came out. This is, I believe, the second volume, if I'm remembering this right. It's been forever. Like this issue, yeah, as you can see, it came out in 2001. So like it's been like 19 years. And you guys may be wondering, why am I reviewing an old comic from 19 years ago rather than something new? Well, usually I've been sticking with manga lately, but Manga Dex has been down, or at least it was down. It's back up now, but it was down for like a few days, so I didn't get a chance to really read any manga. So I wasn't able to grab any like screenshots and stuff like that. Plus, I just don't know what I want to do next for that. As for new comics, I'm really losing interest in comics really quickly. I did go to the comic book store yesterday and pick up a few comics. I haven't read any of them yet though. So yeah, I figure let's do an old comic that I used to enjoy. I used to enjoy Bad Kitty. I used to enjoy Chaos Comics in general, but specifically Bad Kitty and Chastity. And the great thing about Bad Kitty Reloaded is that both of them are in this series. You guys can get most of the story by watching the previous review that I've done of Bad Kitty, where I pretty much covered the first volume, but I'll just read some of this. Catherine Bell was an incorruptible cop, is trying to keep the law beneath the wrought iron terraces of New Orleans. But the Big Easy is anything but a place for purity, or even sanity. When a routine investigation placed her at odds against her own Ron Police Department, as well as the hidden world of Louisiana voodoo that controlled it, the man she loved suffered the consequences by being turned into a mindless, shambling sack of decomposed meat, a zombie ordered to kill her. This pissed Catherine off. Gunfire rang along the jazz-haunted streets. When the smoke cleared, those responsible were floating face first in the Mississippi. Now known as Bad Kitty and wanted by the FBI, Catherine and a very special familiar, a black cat named Lucky, make their way through the world as best they can. So I'm skipping pages, but we have like where Catherine is like sending messages to her parents and stuff. But anyways, we cut to Catherine on the train, and she basically gets bothered by this little girl who I believe is supposed to be like 11 or 12. I don't know. To me, she looks a lot older. Like I mean, look at this face of this little girl. You're telling me that that's a child? I don't know. It looks a little bit older. Like I would guess like late teens, maybe early 20s. Even the body, it just looks like they drew an adult and then just kind of shrunk her. But yeah, this is basically, I guess, supposed to be a little girl, and she's kind of bothering Catherine. So Catherine kind of tells her to piss off in a more nicer way, I guess. And then we hear the little girl start screaming, and she's being basically kidnapped by a nun. So Catherine and the nun start fighting a bit, and then all of a sudden this big dude shows up, and this big dude starts turning into a werewolf. Now pay close attention to the nurse's face, because this is going to play out a little bit later, but notice how old she is. Notice just the way her face is. So yeah, we basically have the werewolf chasing the nun and the little girl up on top of the train, and then Catherine decides to go follow after her to basically get the kid back. Yeah, she basically goes. Here's the funny thing. So she has a backpack filled with grenades and a bunch of weapons and what looks like maybe a shotgun. And the only thing she grabs is her pistol. And I'm like, girl, take everything. You're going up against a werewolf. Like, take everything that you got. But here's also another thing. How the hell did she sneak that up on the train? I guess maybe in 2001, like security was a lot more like lax and stuff like that. But I'm just wondering, how the hell did you sneak a bag filled with grenades, knives, pistols, and shotguns onto a subway train? Also, I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I wouldn't be having just a pile of grenades chilling out in my backpack like that. Like I would just be scared that like it would move around and something might accidentally pull the pin or something. Like with grenades, I don't know. This is me speaking as someone who has never held a grenade in person and has no idea how, like no training whatsoever. So I could be completely wrong. Obviously, I'm sure that grenades aren't like that easy to go off. Otherwise, would probably have a lot more casualties and stuff in like the army and stuff. But just me, like I wouldn't have just a pile of grenades just sitting in a bag, just moving around without, being at least stored in something. I don't know, I'd just be too scared that they would go off. But yeah, I'm just kind of thinking, lady, grab the bag, take everything, because you're going up against a werewolf. Anyways, she kind of defeats the werewolf. She saves the kid, and it turns out that the nun was Chastity. And I'm just kind of thinking to myself, wait a second. Like, Chastity's a vampire. She has abilities. It's been forever since I've read Chastity. I mean, Chastity was big in like the late 90s, early 2000s, back when Chaos was around, right? I used to read all the Chastity stuff. Chastity is one of my favorite comic book characters ever. And it's been a while, so correct me if I'm wrong, but as far as I remember, Chastity does not have the ability to shapeshift. So how do you have a character that looks like this look like this? Like, that looks nothing like Chastity. I guess it would be weird if the nun was basically Chastity in a nun outfit, but like I don't know, maybe show like a scene where Chastity is like pulling off, some latex or whatever. I guess maybe like see like there's a little like smudge right here on her face. I can't tell if that's supposed to be like from a mask, but if it is, maybe do a better job of showing that, because it just for me like it took me a while. Well, back in the day and even now, like rereading this, it took me a while because like I remember Chastity was in this, but I was like, wait, oh yeah, Chastity was a nun. But I can only tell just because of some of the outfit that she's kind of wearing. I mean, it's kind of the nun all ripped up, and I like how it's like strategically ripped up, like right here and right here. Like of all the places for the nun outfit to be ripped, it would be right there. Um, but I mean, that's the whole bad girl comic theme that Chaos pretty much ran with. But yeah, like just I don't know, maybe show her ripping off a latex mask. Maybe kind of just show like or explain better. Like I know I'm kind of just dwelling on that. It's just something that just kind of bothered me a bit. But anyways, Chastity basically tells a story about how the little girl, her name is Ava, how Ava is very important to this like clan of werewolves, this Russian clan of werewolves. Um, and we get this whole like backstory that deals with like Rasputin and stuff like that. I'm not going to go into depth about it because I don't want to spoil anything. I'm barely touching the first two issues, mostly the first issue, barely touching the second issue. I'm just kind of setting up just a little bit because this is only a 4-issue miniseries, and I don't want to spoil anything here. Uh, but basically, let's just get to the meat of it all. There's this Russian clan of werewolves. They're after the little girl for some reason. I know the reason. I'm not going to share it though because I don't want to spoil it. Chastity is trying to get the girl. She basically has two things. She can either try to protect the girl or she wants to kill the girl. Kill the girl is kind of like not her first choice, but it's something that she's willing to do so the werewolves don't get her hands on her. And of course, Bad Kitty doesn't want any of that. So Bad Kitty basically kind of tries to brush Chastity off and tries to go her own way. And then we kind of meet the villains, who of course are werewolves. I do like the design of the guy in the middle. I don't know, just the whole like shaved head with the pentagram star etched on his face. It is kind of cliched, the whole, pentagram, the occult. It's kind of everywhere, but I don't know. I do think that the design for him is kind of interesting. Um, so yeah, we basically just get Chastity and Bad Kitty teaming up somewhat. Like they're helping each other out, but they're not really friends as they go out fighting werewolves and trying to protect this little girl. And then we find out more of why the werewolves want the little girl, and just a little bit more action scenes and stuff like that. I'm not gonna spoil any of that. I will say that the story. I mean, I found the story to be pretty interesting. It's. I mean, I've said this plenty of times in previous videos. I love anything that has to deal with like monster hunting, anything that deals with like people taking on the occult, whether it's like an action horror, like something like this, or if it's more of a like a detective kind of occult, like an occult detective, like John Constantine, Hellblazer, that kind of stuff. I love anything that deals with like our main characters like fighting monsters or demons or whatever. Like that's kind of genre has always interested me. So this is kind of that. It's not gonna. It's a good popcorn kind of flick in comic book form. The art's not that bad. You have like good moments like this, I think, with Chastity like killing the werewolf. I think that like shot is pretty good, and then you just kind of have like other stuff that's just not the greatest, but it is what it is. It's a lot better than the comic books nowadays. um, but yeah, I will say that it feels a bit rushed. I'm not gonna spoil anything, but the third and the fourth, especially the fourth issue, feels just a little bit rushed, which is weird because this is a mini series. This was planned as a mini series. They kind of knew where this was going, but I find that that happens every time when it comes to miniseries. I don't know why. It's like you know how many issues you're getting. Why does everything still feel so rushed? Do writers just take too long trying to set up a story and then they're like, oh shit, we only have like 2 issues left. We got to wrap everything up. And then they just try to wrap everything up. Like it's weird to me, but they keep doing it. I've seen it so many times, not just in Chaos Comics, but like in so many other miniseries where like the first issue or two, like they'll do a decent job setting stuff down, but then like the final 2 issues, it's just rushed as hell. For a 4 issue miniseries, I don't know. I would basically say first issue would be the introduction of everything, like the setup. So basically, like if this was a 3-part act, first issue should be Act 1, second and third issue should be Act 2, fourth issue should be Act 3. There, it's that simple. Like I don't know why things still seem so rushed, but this does seem a bit rushed. But anyways, it's still a good series. I still enjoy it. I recommend it. But then again, like I'm one of those people like I recommend. Like I love Chaos Comics. I love Zenscope. I love the kind of like bad girl comics that were like really popular in the late 90s, early 2000s. You just basically get, it's like, okay, what do guys like? Guys like action, all right. Guys like sexy females, okay. Guys like a bit of fan service, all right. Let's throw that all together and just have a good, fun action story. That's pretty much what all I want. And this series does a pretty good job of doing that. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed. Please tell me what you guys think. If you guys got any, like, here's the thing. Maybe you guys can help me out here. So I've been trying to check out some Ghost Rider stuff because I've been just getting back into Ghost Rider. So you guys have any Ghost Rider series that you recommend? I just finished reading Garth Ennis's Road to Damnation, which is pretty good. And I believe there's a follow-up that I'm going to try to track down. Are there any other like series of Ghost Riders that you guys would recommend? Specifically anything dealing with Johnny Blaze, because I like Johnny Blaze more than Danny and stuff like that. But if you guys have any good like Ghost Rider like series or arcs or stuff that like you really recommend I check out, please let me know. But other than that, if you guys got any comics you think I should read, whether it be old comics, new comics, any mangas you think I should check out, let me know. And yeah, I hope you guys have a good one. I hope to see you guys next time. Later.